Today, we're going to make something very special for the Vata folks so as to settle their anxious mind and stabilize their restless body. Nothing but Shastika Paisam. Did you ever imagine that a source of carb, here, rice, could be the answer for your joint pains, hair, and even bone health? Yes, that's the thing about Shastika rice. Despite of being a source of carb, it is capable of nourishing your body holistically. It not just focuses on the nutritional elements like zinc, iron, vitamin B, etc., but it also tries to understand the holistic property of the product. And that is because you're not just going to consume the nutritional elements in it or the active principles, but you're going to consume the food as a whole. And therefore, it is important to understand what does it do to your body holistically. So for this, you're going to need red Shastika rice, say 1 cup. The source of sweetness being used out here is rock sugar or mishri and not jaggery for a certain reason. Next, a source of milk. You can either offer cow's milk, say A2 cow's milk if you have access to, or you can go for coconut milk. This is what coconut scrapings look like, the fresh ones. You can take fresh coconut milk and use it. And then ghee, and then couple of herbs. One is cardamom, ideally green cardamom, and then dry ginger powder, and yash tea if you want to make it extra cooling. So let's figure out how to make it. So for this, you're going to need approximately 4 times water, and ideally it is best to cook the rice in earthen pot. The whole idea is that this combination is basically for cooling your body. And the vessel, the kind of material that is being used, also determines the property, the holistic property of the food being prepared. So when you use earthen pot, it is very cooling, and when you use copper, it is heating, which is why we use copper tumblers for drinking water in winters. It provides pitta for your body. Shastika rice takes approximately 2 to 3 times more time than the regular rice to be cooked, and therefore it is best to be used after soaking it overnight. And with the overnight soaking, the cooling pot property of the same further gets enhanced. Whenever you cook rice, ensure that you're not closing it. We have a tendency to close the vessel so that it takes lesser time to get cooked. But in case of rice, lentils, pulses, etc., Ayurvedically understood, these are grains which takes more time to get cooked. So they should be actually cooked by giving it ample time, which is by leaving it open and cooking it in low flame. It not just enhances the taste of the food, it also helps in better breakdown and easier digestion of the food. Now you might be wondering, why have we got 2 different kinds of milk and not just use any one of these? See, most of the time when we prepare payasam, the Ayurvedic way, the best milk to be used is actually cow's milk. That is because the whole idea of payasam is to nourish your body. But often in today's world, many of us are experiencing lactose intolerance or inability to break down the regular cow's milk. In that case, you can go for coconut milk. Another advantage is that this payasam can be consumed along with your regular meal, because even if you have got salt containing other meals, and with that, before that or after that, if you want to consume payasam, it is okay. But if you have cow's milk, you cannot consume it with your other meal. And the major difference is cow's milk is cooling and nourishing, whereas coconut milk is slightly heating when used in excess quantity, and that is because it has a tendency for slightly increasing your pitta, and thereby it also has a tendency to increase your krimi or worm infestation. Upon preparing Shastika Payasam, there are 2 herbs that I would want you to keep handy. If you are a person who is actually looking for weight gain but has a slight delayed digestion or do not have an amazing appetite, then you should be adding some crushed dry ginger while the rice is being cooked. This helps in better digestion, breakdown and absorption of the nutrients from the food that we are preparing. But in case if you're highly prone to acidity or too much of body heat, diarrhea, ulcers, acne, abscess, then you should be going for yash tea or licorice. So today I'm gonna use dry ginger. So here we'll try to crush it. Once it is thoroughly crushed, transfer it to a piece of muslin cloth. We'll make a potli out of it and then put it in the earthen pot where the rice is getting cooked. The potli is made by tying up the four corners. Now the thing is, whenever we are using herbs while preparing these kind of food items, nobody likes to chew it, right? So to prevent that, to avoid that, what we do is we try to use these crushed herbs in the form of a potli. So in this case, the one that we are using is dry ginger. Here is the potli. So while the rice is getting cooked, let us put it inside. This is going to take some good 1 hour minimum for it to get cooked. So meanwhile, this is getting cooked. Let me tell you why I have chosen rock sugar or mishri and not jaggery. Mishri is actually cooling, whereas jaggery is heating. This is the main difference between mishri and jaggery. Now in this case, the whole idea of this preparation is to help you cool down so that you can consume it when there is Grishma Ritu, summer season, in the climate, also when there is a summer season inside your body. Confused about what I'm talking? Okay, let me explain you. Whenever you feel heat outside, you call it Grishma Ritu. And whenever you feel excessively heat inside and drying, that again Ayurvedically is understood as Grishma Ritu or summer season inside your body. So it's not just meant for Grishma Ritu or summer season consumption, but you can also consume whenever you feel heated up and dried within your body. Say for example, you have been having a exam season, you're extremely exhausted or late nights and tired, or when you have been having prolonged period of stress. During all these three conditions, what's happening inside your body is that it is highly agitated, heated up because of excess utilization of energy, and is also drained and tired. In that case, again, you can consider having Shastika rice payasam. So now that it's almost cooked, now it's time for us to add the rest of the ingredients. The best way to ensure that the rice is well cooked is to take one of the pieces and ensure that you're able to press it thoroughly and there is no amount of raw rice at the center. So once that is done, let's begin by adding some milk. I'm gonna use cow's milk, mainly because it is for Grishma Ritu. Next in line goes rock sugar or mishri. Ideally, it is best to use the unprocessed variety, which usually comes in irregular shapes. Here, I didn't get hold of that, therefore I will use that. And then add some ghee on top of it. Now let it get cooked for another 5-10 minutes, and then we shall try removing the potli. So while the kheer is getting cooked, let me quickly tell you what are the properties of Shastika rice. It is Shita Snigdha Guru, as in it is cooling in nature, it is unctuous and slightly heavy, but then it is still easy to digest or laghu. And that is why it is Tridoshakna, as in it balances all the Tridoshas, and therefore Ayurvedically it is a superfood. Not just that, it is sweet in taste, it is swadu, and it is sthira, as in it gives you grounding, stability, and that is exactly what helps in nourishing the bones and thereby strengthening your hair roots and hair follicles. Now as it is thoroughly cooked and the milk has boiled quite well, let's remove the potli of dry ginger that we had put inside. And with this, our Shastika payasam is ready. Once the milk boils thoroughly and we've put in sim for minimum 15 minutes to 30 minutes, it's time for us to grab our Shastika payasam. For those people who prefer it warm, lukewarm, can consume it like this. For others who prefer it to be room temperature so that it is much more cooling, especially for those who have got high pitta, you can consume it in room temperature. And now we have our Shastika payasam ready. And to make it a bit more ruchya and to help with your pitta or the acidity, I have added few pinches of cardamom. And cardamom is always best to be added towards the end so as to maintain its aroma.